Reading one. The morning of my first day at school, 3 years ago, felt like the biggest challenge I had ever faced. My backpack was heavy with new supplies, and my heart beat fast like a little drum. I didn't know if I would make friends or if my teacher would be nice, but I told myself to be brave and see what the day would bring. When I woke up, sunlight peeked through my window. Mom made me pancakes and said, "You'll do great, kiddo." On the way to school, I held her hand tightly. My shoes squeaked on the shiny hallway floor, and I could smell crayons and glue everywhere. The classroom was full of colors and giggles, but I still felt a little shy. Our teacher, Mrs. Lewis, greeted us with a warm smile and said, "We're going to have a wonderful year together." We sang a song and drew pictures of our families. A girl named Mia asked if I wanted to use her sparkly crayon, and that small act made my day brighter. Bit by bit, I started to feel like I belonged. At recess, I ran around the playground with my new friends. The slide shone in the sun, and laughter filled the air. I fell once but got up quickly. As my mom always says, when you fall, you get right back on the horse. By the afternoon, school didn't feel scary anymore. It felt fun. When the final bell rang, it was time to go home. I realized that what started as a scary day had turned into something wonderful. My teacher was kind, my classmates were friendly, and I couldn't wait to come back the next day to learn and play again. Reading 2. On the night of my first recital last year, I felt extremely nervous. The thought of playing in front of so many people made my hands tremble. I wanted everything to go perfectly, even though I knew I might make a few mistakes. That night taught me what it truly means to be brave. The morning of the recital, I woke up early and practiced one last time in my room. Each note echoed softly. My mom made me oatmeal and reminded me to take deep breaths. I packed my violin carefully in its case, polished and ready, and we drove to the concert hall while I watched the trees blur past the window. When we arrived, the stage lights looked brighter than I imagined, and rows of chairs filled the room. I waited backstage with other students, listening to the sound of the piano, flute, and cello before me. My heart thumped loudly as my name was called. I walked on stage, bowed, and began to play. The first few notes were shaky, but soon my fingers found their rhythm. I forgot the crowd and focused on the music. When I finished, there was a short silence, and then applause filled the room. I smiled and bowed again, feeling a mix of relief and pride. Backstage, my teacher whispered, "You did wonderfully." I watched the rest of the performances, this time feeling calm and happy, knowing I had done my best. That night, as we drove home, I replayed the concert in my mind. I realized that even though I had been scared, the only way to overcome fear was to face it. My first recital showed me that courage doesn't mean not being afraid. It means performing anyway and overcoming my fears. Reading 3. My first debate tournament took place a couple of years ago. I had prepared for weeks, crafting arguments and memorizing facts. Yet when the day finally arrived, I felt a storm of nerves building inside me. It was my first chance to stand before judges and defend an idea, and I wanted to make the best impression I could. That morning, I woke up early and reviewed my notes over breakfast. My cue cards were neat and organized, and my speech was rehearsed to perfection. When we arrived at the debate venue, rows of students in formal clothes filled the hall, chatting like busy bees. My partner and I exchanged a nervous smile. It was time to step into the spotlight. When our round began, the room fell silent. My heart pounded, but I stood tall and delivered my opening statement. The words flowed like a river, steady and strong. The opposing team spoke confidently too, but I countered their points with precision and poise. By the time we reached our closing statements, I was no longer nervous. I felt alive with purpose and assurance. When the judges announced the results, I held my breath. We didn't win first place, but we earned an honorable mention, and I was proud of every word I spoke. My teacher congratulated me, saying my voice carried strength and clarity. As I left the stage, I realized that public speaking isn't just about arguing. It's about connecting, persuading, and believing in your message. That day changed how I saw myself. The debate wasn't just a competition, it was a lesson in expression, understanding, and growth. I learned that true confidence doesn't come from being perfect, but from being prepared, composed, and passionate.